Thank you, everyone, for coming. So my name's Sam Jones, and I'll just set the scene a little bit by giving you some context about Gener8, who we are and what we do, and then introduce Tinie, and then we can open for any questions that you have. So the open secret within the advertising industry is that it's been built on exploiting our data. Every question that we search for, every website that we go to, every action that we take online is being tracked. And companies, often that we've never even heard of, are tracking us, tracing us, and creating digital fingerprints of us. Then they sell this information and they make money from it. But this is our data. It's our information. And at Gener8, we believe that people should have a choice to stop this from happening, or even better, to earn from it themselves. So at Gener8, we've built a browser that's totally free and anyone can use, and we give people a simple choice between rewards mode and privacy mode. In privacy mode, we give people total protection and stop companies from tracking them online. And in rewards mode, we enable people to earn from their data by sharing it with us. In return for sharing their data, people earn points, and they can redeem these points for products, vouchers, or donations to charity in our marketplace. Right now, the average user is redeeming between £5 and £25 in rewards and value per month. Earlier this year, I pitched on the BBC's Dragon's Den, where it was called the best pitch ever, and consequently went viral with more than 20 million views online. Since then, Gener8's been growing fast. We're now approaching 500,000 users, and we've been averaging a new download every 10 seconds for the last 6 weeks. Off the back of this momentum, we held a modest fundraise and brought on board some fantastic investors like Tinie, and Harry Redknapp and other characters. And the investment has enabled us to build our mobile app, the Gener8 Data Wallet, which will launch in Q1 next year. And I'm excited to say that we're currently in talks with telcos and manufacturers about being pre-installed onto tens of millions of devices. So now over to Tinie to say a few words about why he got involved with Gener8.
How you doing, guys? Perfect. How you doing, guys? You good? Yeah, I mean, quite simply, you know, I'm a millennial, so I grew up, you know, using tech. If it wasn't for tech, I probably wouldn't have been able to have a career as an artist, as a rapper, etc. But, you know, being able to understand tech a little bit more, I think it's, you know, transparency is key. And I think, you know, we need platforms that actually serve the interests of the users and not the other way around. You know, for me, it's felt like for the longest time, the user and the consumer is giving all of this information, but not getting anything back apart from a slightly better, you know, user experience, you know. And I think just watching things like, you know, Cambridge Analytica, et cetera, or hearing about Cambridge Analytica rather, I just started to understand what was going on here and started to understand how much of a commodity data was, and, you know, the fact that if we're not giving it over, then, you know, essentially a lot of these big tech businesses are powerless. They don't have any power. And I saw Sam's pitch on Dragon's Den. I was just minding my own business one day, just watching some TV, and I saw Sam, and I was just impressed with the fact that obviously Sam is a 30-year-old man, so he's a millennial, young, aspirational, very ambitious, and I thought that he delivered his case so eloquently and so perfectly. And so I searched high and low to find this guy, and I found him, and I was like, take some of my money. And yeah, that was it. Now I'm here with him. Yeah, that's it.
Great. So we have time for some questions.
I wanted to ask, in terms of the wallet, you mentioned that very briefly. Give us a bit more about that, because that sounds like a development with an ICO probably behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. So well picked up on. We haven't put out any information about this until about 20 seconds ago. So this is all brand new. So ultimately, the concept is exactly the same as the core of Gener8, and that is building technology that empowers people to control and earn from their data. So the idea behind our Gener8 Data Wallet is that we're, to speak at a high level, we're building something that empowers people to connect all of the different sources of data that are currently out there, e.g. what Google holds on you, what Facebook holds on you, what all of these big tech companies hold on you. We can pull it into one location so that you can view it and see what there is, and then we can give you a choice to either put that data to work and allow yourself to earn from it, or to remove it and from some of these platforms and to stop them from accessing it too. So the idea is exactly in line with what we've built on desktop. It's about empowering people to control and earn from their data.
Thank you.
Tinie, I'm Fernando, here, on your left. I'm Fernando.
Why are you sitting down, Fernando, man? No, I'm joking. Hey, Fernando.
Good afternoon, man.
Afternoon, bro.
I'm Fernando from Headflow, and rhythm and poetry, voices from the street. I would like to know how to include people right now who are powerless, how to build a bridge by using technology and to just make it easier for everyone to use it in high techs.
That is,
Thanks.
yeah, no, that's a great point, and it's a great question. I think I understand what you're trying to say, and I think that's why, dynamic, I guess, partnerships like this are, like they work really well, because obviously Sam is the brains behind the operation. However, for me, like I said, I'm a millennial, so if you were born within that time frame and beyond that, tech is a part of our language. You know, this is kind of like how we've grown up. And I guess I got to a certain point where I was like, if I can use culture and tech to kind of democratize opportunity, because, you know, tech essentially does make the playing field a little bit more level in the sense that, you know, now you can work from different regions in the world. You don't have to be like in the epicenters all of the time. You can make money, you know, through cryptocurrency. People have been able to change their socio-economic situation. So tech is definitely leveling the playing field. However, I feel like with the combination of culture and tech, we will definitely be able to democratize opportunity. And I think we've already seen lots of dynamic partnerships. This is just one of like many, you know, this is one of many. And I believe that as time progresses, as people become more accustomed to these ideas, it will become more and more accessible. And obviously being a British guy that has Nigerian roots, I'm also thinking about Africa, and I'm thinking of all of the opportunity that is still there. It's still such an untapped place when it comes to tech. And yeah, so hopefully this is the catalyst for, hopefully in a few decades to come, incredible innovation to happen over there. And I hope that in turn that will also level the playing field even further. That's my response. I hope that's helped you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just a question for you, Tinie.
Yeah.
I've been watching your show on home renovations
Yeah.
with the house extensions.
Yes.
Me and my 18-year-old been very into it.
Yeah.
How do you put all these different hats on? Because you have got portfolios of property, and that's something you do, and now you're in technology as well, and obviously your music.
Yeah.
How do you manage all these different hats?
Well, that's why I'm wearing this hat, just to show all of the different hats that I can actually wear. To be quite honest with you, I think, again, it's just like a millennial's way of thinking. I think prior to this, when I talked to my parents, or I talked to people of a slightly older generation, you know, everything is kind of categorized, and, you know, it has to be quite clear what you do and who you are. However, I'm a creative, and you know, as a creative, my passions kind of like lead me to, you know, I'm led by my passions essentially. So if I believe in something and I feel like I can understand it, at the age I'm at, I just want to like explore it more, and I want to see how I can help. I was actually explaining to Sam earlier that when I was a bit younger, I would have seen someone like Sam and I would have been like, oh, you know, me and Sam are roughly the same age. You know, if he can do it, why can't I? And I would have called some cronies. We would have started coding, and would have been like, let's try and beat Gener8. But I've started to understand that, you know, it's more about supporting those who have the vision and have the idea, and that's all I'm here to really do. So it's actually quite easy for me to put on a load of these hats. And yeah, I hope that, you know, with Gen Z kind of really like, you know, on our tails, we're going to see more and more of this, you know. I remember sometimes they'll ask like a F1 driver like Lewis Hamilton or something, they'll say, why are you singing, or why are you hanging around with all these people? You should be racing all the time. But I mean, in my opinion, who's to say that that's how things should be? I think if you have a passion and you want to explore it, you know, that's what you should do. And that's basically what I'm doing at this stage of my life.
Thank you.
Hi. I guess this question is for both of you. I just wanted to get an idea of your thoughts on contextual advertising. So for context, I work for an audio ad company and we put that in gaming. And we don't use any personal data, we use just contextual data. And given your move to sort of being able to monetize and enable people to earn from their own data, I just thought it's quite completely opposites in some ways. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take that, definitely. So from my side, so previously, before founding Gener8, to give a little bit of context, I worked at Red Bull as the global brand manager there, in charge of about 1/3 of their worldwide advertising. And I would sit in meetings with most of the major big tech companies, all of the ones we're very familiar with, the household names. And I would look at the presentations and the pitches that they would give us to justify why we should spend more money with them. And always the narrative was almost identical, regardless of the platform. And what they would do is throw up a slide saying, look at everything we know about our users. And it would shock me and it would stagger me, because I would sit there as a user thinking, oh my God, I had no awareness that this was happening. So the reason I founded Gener8, very simply, was to shine a light on this and to empower people to be able to control and earn from their own data. So when it comes to contextual advertising or audio advertising or any placements like that, I mean, I'm very agnostic, totally, like, we don't take a view on what's right, what's wrong, this is good, this is bad. Our view, very simply, is that there should be transparency so that people understand, A, what's going on, who's collecting their data, what are they doing with it, and B, if people are making money from your data, then my belief is that you should have the ability to say, you know what, I want to take a cut of that. That's my data that's being sold. Allow me to be rewarded. So a little bit of a lateral answer, but I hope it answers your question for you.
Yeah, and I would also agree. I think, you know, sometimes when they say, allow cookies or don't allow cookies, sometimes I'll be like, all right, let me just see the list of, you know, all of the people that my information is going to. And I think I'm going to see like 3 or 4 names. Sometimes it's like 100 different brands, different companies. And I can't believe that this is happening to people every single day without their knowledge. So I just think as long as people have a choice and as long as people are made aware and they, like you said, have the opportunity to share on the profits. And, you know, this is something that, you know, I know people are earning between 5 and 25 pounds a week in vouchers currently, but hopefully, you know, as this scales and grows, there's more opportunity to actually like earn and be able to make a difference to your life. I think that that's all we need, and then we can move from there.
So you said like people could monetize their data. How's that being done? Like, how have you started it? How do you plan to expand it? Because this is like, we're talking about tons of data and tons of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So to give you a few stats really quickly, so right now with our existing user base, we see that every 30 days, so every month, our users spend the equivalent of 242 years in time spent on Gener8, which is a really cool stat when you realize the depth of usage that we've got here. So then the starting point really for everything we do is we start by telling people, hey, you are valuable, your attention is valuable, and your data is valuable. Right now, if you're using these platforms, then all of this information, everything you do is being hoovered up and resold without your knowledge. So we're going to give you 2 choices. A, to keep that private, choose privacy mode, or B, to earn from it yourself in rewards mode. If you select rewards mode, then we do 2 things. Number 1, we tailor all of the adverts that you see online to be based on your preferences. And number 2, if you opt into it, we anonymize your data and we use this for research. And then all of the revenue or any revenue that we make is shared back with the user so that you are rewarded anytime your data is used. So where we are today, those are 2 very clear revenue streams. When you think about the future, what we really want to do is kind of, well, I mean, if we take a step back, it's the fact that we leave data everywhere that we go. And this is only going to become a bigger problem. When you think of Facebook and the metaverse, when you think about kids spending more time on social media than in the real world, when you think about the fact that our offline lives and our digital lives are melting together, then we think it's important to have someone or something that can represent you online. And that's really what we're trying to build with Gener8.